Well, welcome to the OTA Community Gathering. It's great to have you with us. Thank you for taking the time out to be with us, to be with some of the executive team members as we share a little bit of what's happening at the Online Trading Academy community, the investments we're making in the future, the excitement that we're feeling as we can now turn the corner and start feeling the world getting back to a sense of normal. You're going to hear from some of our executives, and we'll share a little bit of what's going on inside the company and outside the company. It's kind of like we did at Thrive back in 2017, over 3 years ago. We had about 700 students and staff and instructors. Only by necessity, we have to do this online. So again, thanks for being a part of this. We're going to keep things rolling relatively quickly. Remember, as we're talking, you can type into the chat box any questions you have. We're going to have a session at the very end, which will be questions and answers. We're grateful that you guys are taking part of this, and we'll try to do our best to keep on time. Again, thank you for being a part of the OTA community and this OTA community gathering.
OTA's relentless commitment to their students is never ending. There's no ceiling.
In Houston, we had a special situation happen a year and a half ago. We had the hurricane.
Harvey, category 4.
50 inches of rain.
Harvey, now a history-making disaster.
Obviously, my concern was for my staff, my students, but there was someone there for me, and that was AL.
This is relentless commitment.
I think what we do is extremely important for people.
When students walk up and getting hugs in the hall, it's something that you just can't capture on a P&L.
Relentless commitment!
We have 5 days to help you get to the point where you're comfortable. And I don't feel I've done my job if I don't make you feel comfortable at the end of that.
Giving back, give back.
I've been doing this till I'm in my 80s if I can.
An honor to be a small fraction of their story.
Relentless commitment!
Hello everyone. 23 years ago I started Online Trading Academy. None of us envisioned that we'll all have such a tough year like we did. I gotta tell you, I've been hugging people for so many years. The toughest part of this year was that I wasn't able to hug people. I'm having withdrawal symptoms. I can't wait for people to get into centers and us meeting people personally face to face. I know you all love the community that Online Trading Academy create in centers, and we all love having you interact with each other and with us. The instructors are such an integrated and great part of Online Trading Academy, and I know they miss you all and being in front of you in the classroom. But I can promise you we're working very, very hard to have all of it come back. Many of the centers already start opening. Stay in touch with those centers, and you can see the classroom schedule, but we can't wait to have you in our centers. And personally, I can't wait to meet some of you and start giving hugbacks again after this virus is out of our way. So, it'll get excited and hopefully very soon. But it's been a very tough 6 months to all of you, I'm sure. And for many people, it's still a pretty struggling time. And we're here for you. We're going to do everything we can to keep on supporting you and helping you. I know my team and all of the employees and the instructors are dedicated very, very much to keep on supporting you every single day. Our vision has always been, to be able to deliver to you both physical education and virtual education at your pace and at your convenience. And today you have the capability to have that in physical centers coming up soon, very quickly, as well as online live, online recorded, and self-paced. And you can take it in any combination you want. In 2017, we had a Thrive conference where many of you came in to Las Vegas, and we cast the vision. We cast the vision of Click and all of the stuff that we're doing today that we started all the way back then are now coming into fruition. I'm very lucky to have an enormous amount of innovation and innovative people around me. And, one of the things that we just rolled out, that we worked on, the team worked on for quite a bit, was the Mastermind Grid integrated inside Click. And what I love about it is that it gives people the first step, and there'll be more to come, much easier capabilities to be able to take advantage of those levels and be able to, with a click of a mouse, actually have them drawing zones in Click. And as live education that is coming up soon will start coming into play, you'll be able to execute orders on the grid in a much, much easier time than you ever did before. So I'd like to share with you some visual of what the grid looks like for those of you that haven't seen it. And I'd like to have Gary, if you could, please show us short video clips to share with everybody.
Online Trading Academy's Grid is now available as a real-time market analysis and charting tool within Click. For the first time, live ETFs and futures market data, either real-time or delayed, populates within the grid as market prices update. Each symbol in the grid displays up to 3 supply and 3 demand levels for the inside, middle, and outside rows, with colored arrows to designate trend direction, up, down, or sideways. Filter by asset class. Zone. And trend. Then select any of the grid cells to see supply and demand zones populate inside the grid bar, a single symbol version of the grid on a linked chart, with the selected cell drawn as a zone on the chart automatically. Use the grid bar to select and deselect individual cells to be drawn as zones on the chart, or select all zones, and all zones for that symbol will be drawn at once. What's under development next for Click's grid? How about the ability to easily set alerts and place trades? To find out more about the grid, contact your local Online Trading Academy center.
Great. And I really like how it looks. You can change it to from the black view to the white view if it's easier on your eyes, and choose obviously short term and long term. It's really exciting for me. It's the first step, and we'll show you more of where it's going to head soon. The next piece that I'd like to share with you has to do with the integration of the education inside Click. And for me, it's very exciting because my vision was always to have the education in the fingertip completely integrated with the trading platform at the point of the time that the traders actually need it. So I want to show you in a second a clip that will demonstrate how it looks like. There'll be a lot of places throughout the platform where 2-3 minute video clips will be able to pop up at your command and explain you both how the platform could operate and specific tools in it, as well as educational piece of how to use some of these tools to your advantage. And I believe that once we complete the first rollout, we'll go into the second one, which actually analyze your action and results and be able to actually take those 2-3 minutes video clips and be able to serve it to you based on the results that you have if the system determines that you could have improvement in some of it. So I'd like to ask Gary to show us a short video clip on how does education inside Click looks like. Gary?
The vision for Click is to create, deliver, and continually enhance a market analysis and trading platform built specifically for the OTA student. We're beginning to integrate Online Trading Academy's award-winning education directly into Click. Let's start by taking a look at Click Tips. These learning tidbits are designed to assist you in using Click's tools and features. Here's one showing how to use the trend drawing tool. We're also integrating course lesson snippets inside of Click, placing educational content right at your fingertips. Here you can see a video from our course strategy class discussing the scoring of a trade opportunity.
In this lesson, we're going to look at strength, the first of our zone structure odds enhancers. As you go through the zone,
as you can see, this video is available right where and when you need it. In fact, Click tips and course lessons are available throughout Click, and many more are on the way. We're also working to provide the ability to access full courses inside of Click. Not only will you be able to access this digital content directly from within the platform, you will be able to access course materials such as PDFs and spreadsheets and bookmark your favorite course content. Thanks for joining us for this sneak peek of exciting things coming to Click. Look for OTA education to be available in a coming release. We will continue to provide previews of innovations that we're developing.
The next piece that I'd like to share with you has to do with the scanner inside Click. So we shared with you, I think, in the past that we're working on a scanner. It's going to have 2-3 different phases of rollout. The simple one will have groups of pre-selected scans that we have created, and as we progress, you'll have more and more capabilities to create your own scans. But I would like to share with you how does the scan would look like inside Click in the very near future as it would get rolled out soon. Gary, could you please share us a video on the scanner?
Online Trading Academy's patented core strategy methodology is designed to allow users to objectively evaluate market opportunities in line with their individual risk parameters. A number of tools geared to facilitate the learning and application of the core strategy methodology have been integrated into Click, and more are on the way. Currently, we're working to add market scanners. Looking at the list of 8,000 stock symbols, a question comes to mind. Which of these symbols might be appropriate to examine further for tradable opportunities using core strategy? Click's market scanning tools are designed to help answer this question, allowing OTA students to scan the markets based on fundamental and technical criteria. Here's a sneak peek of some of Click's market scanning tools. The first scanning tool you'll see in Click is Symbol Scout. Click's Symbol Scout scans the universe of stock symbols and ETFs for predefined criteria and returns a list of matching symbols. First, we've included Classic Scouts. These focus on price, volume, and volatility scans. We will also offer Premium Scouts, scans developed at OTA to support Online Trading Academy courses. These scans will only be found inside of Click. Lastly, we'll be including Scout Builder, a unique tool that allows OTA students to create custom scans. Choose and combine scan criteria from the categories of price, volume, volatility, and fundamentals. Add filters and time intervals, and choose to export the data to a CSV file. Thanks for joining us for another segment of Click Innovation Behind the Scenes. We'll continue to keep everyone up to speed on what we're working on for Click.
Well, next in Click, we have a really long list of things to do. I'll just highlight some of the near future ones. And we're probably going to have in 2-3 months a session that will be dedicated to Click development and future. We have a lot of exciting projects in it. But the next big things that are coming down the pipeline that we started to work on is the integration of Forex, integration of Option 2.0 tools that is very, very exciting. Obviously, live execution that is already being developed and is being tested. And we'll roll out as soon as we're comfortable with the testing. So this is all the innovation that we have in Click, and we'll go more into details later. But we had a lot of innovation in the education side. So I mentioned before the on-demand portion with ebook that you've all experienced, and labs, the capabilities that we have that many of you took advantage of. We've got the new virtual classroom platform that we're working on that the team will expand on later. So there's a lot of innovation in this part of the business also. Next, the executive team will go in much deeper on all of the elements that I mentioned and kind of share with you some of the projects we're working on. And I'll come back with you a little bit later for our Q&A session with everybody on the team. Most of the executives with Online Trading Academy have been with me at least 12 years, many of them much more than that. And one of the jokes that we always have in Online Trading Academy is that we like to start running as fast as we can and accelerate from there. We recently have decided to increase speed and increase innovation. And 2.5 years ago, I brought in an incredible guy to help me manage the company and expand all of our services to you. He's got an amazing leadership and helped us through this last 6 months in an immense way. Mike Richardson, Online Trading Academy President, take it from here.
Thank you, Eyal. Indeed, that's the joke. Start running as fast as you possibly can and then accelerate from there. Except it's no joke. I want to speak to you today about 3 things that all great companies have in common. Those companies in their space that lead the field, they change the game, they blaze the trail. All of those companies have something in common. And first and foremost, what they have in common is agility. Now, many of you might work in the software field. You might be aware of this concept of agile. And we use that word to talk about organizational agility. And when the seas get rough, and when the wind changes, and when the storm clouds gather, and when a perfect storm starts to brew up, that's when agility really matters. And the great companies, they reset their sails, they tack, and they chart a new course. And that's what we have been doing during the challenges of this year. Boy, has it challenged everybody's agility this year, no doubt yours, with COVID, with the market volatility, and with the economy. And then, of course, we have had everything else that we've had to deal with. And agility requires you to evolve your business model in unison at high speed, as Eyal said. That's not easy. It requires you to be morphing your technologies and your products and services all at the same time and keeping up and staying ahead. And that's not easy, but we've done it. We've done it this year. We've done it well. And we're in the same company as many of the great companies that are household names to you. Some of you drive Teslas. Some of you use Apple products. Many of you, I'm sure. And who knows, heck, maybe even some of you eat Impossible burgers. Those are great companies changing the game in their space, and OTA is amongst them. We have the agility for that. What is it that most great companies are agile at mostly? It's innovation and innovating new systems, new approaches, new products and services, new technologies. But innovation is not simple. It's complex. There's a lot of moving parts that have to be lined up, a lot of cogs that have to mesh together. And therefore, it takes a lot of courage to set out on a path of innovating on multiple fronts simultaneously. And we've done that always, but remarkably, we've managed to keep doing that during the course of this year and all the challenges that we've faced. We've been developing complex technology products, not least of all Click, as you've heard from Eyal. I've been doing that my whole career, and I know how hard it can be to do well. But by and large, we've done it. It always involves challenges of prioritization and what do you do first and what do you do next and what do you do after that? What do you do in parallel? What do you do as a sequence? And it's impossible to prioritize everything. It's impossible to prioritize everyone's preferences. It's just impossible to do. And so there are hard choices to make, and we've made them. And we appreciate your grace and your patience as we do so, because it's always imperfect. Executing from an idea to reality is a challenge. Lining everything up, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, getting everything the way it needs to be is a challenge. It takes courage, it takes dedication, it takes persistence, and by and large, we've done it, despite all the challenges that we've faced. You know from your own experiences how challenging innovation can be. It never quite goes, perfectly according to plan, on schedule, on budget, exactly how you planned it. There are always things to learn along the way, and there are always, some failures. And those of you who are schooled in Agile, or you perhaps work in the software industry, or you work around it, you know that failure is a part of success. Hopefully small failures, hopefully smart failures, and when they're small and smart, they're not actually failures, they're learning. And so we've been learning a lot, we've been moving very fast, we've been accelerating, and by and large, it's been going reasonably well, and we're looking forward to taking our game to all new levels as we go forward from here. Remarkably, we've managed to innovate and sustain our pace during the course of all the challenges that we've had this year. Not least of all, first and foremost, of course, on Click, as Eyal mentioned, but also equally, as you'll hear more from Steve Albin, our VP of Education in a few moments, we've managed to move forward with our education, we've managed to move forward with our support and our community, and innovating on so many fronts simultaneously. And what's so exciting right now, as Eyal mentioned, is the convergence of those innovations and how they're coming together inside of Click. With our education now showing up inside of Click, our tips showing up inside of Click, and most excitingly, grids showing up inside of Click. It's going to be so exciting as we go onwards and upwards from here and fully leverage the educational value, the analytical value, and the trading value of this fantastic new innovative platform that we have called Click. It's going to be remarkable what we're able to do from here. And great companies, they bring their innovation and they bring their agility to an intersection on the third and most important thing, and that is their acute focus on delivering customer value. And in our case, we call that your student learning journey. It's our number one focus. In fact, so much so, we call it our relentless commitment. We are relentlessly committed to doing everything we possibly can to help you progress up your student learning journey. And really, it's about lowering the barriers, the hurdles, the obstacles, removing the friction in any way, shape, or form to help you progress up that journey as easily and as quickly as you possibly can. So lowering the educational barriers, making our education even more digestible, even more accessible, anywhere, anytime. It's about lowering the technological barriers, hence investing in Click in the way we are. And it's also about lowering the self-confidence barriers and doing everything we can to not only provide you instructional materials, but provide you inspirational materials to help you keep going on your journey, to stay the course and go the distance. And it's all about facilitating you to go onwards and upwards on your student learning journey, developing the skills, evolving your proficiency, and developing your confidence as a trader and investor. And most excitingly, one of the things that we're innovating is something that we now call our Compass program. And Compass is about always knowing where you are, always knowing where true north is for you, and always knowing what the next step is. And so that's what we call our Compass program. And again, you'll hear more about that from Steve Albin in a few moments, our VP of Education. You know, I've been lucky enough to have a very diverse career and have interacted with thousands of companies and leadership teams and CEOs, and none of them matched my experience of OTA when I first got to know Eyal and the leadership team and the company 2.5 years ago. And it was clear to me that this is a great company doing great things, and it has the same kind of agility, the same kind of innovation, and the same kind of relentless commitment to the intersection of those two things on your journey as a student and delivering value to you as our customer. That is our number one focus. And at the end of the day, what it all comes down to is that you are in a great community and you're in a great culture of a great company. And there's nobody better to talk to you about that than someone who's been with the company for 15 years. He actually helped define the core values of the culture and the community and the company 15 years ago. And every day that I've experienced him since, for 2.5 years that I've been here, he is an inspirational, walking, talking embodiment of those core values, our Chief Operating Officer, Gene Longobardi.
Thank you, Mike. Mike has been a tremendous leader for us, and we really appreciate all that you've done, Mike, in these challenging times and all we're doing to point this company to the future. So again, thank you guys for being with us. You know, the reality that we're all facing now is these are the toughest times that most of us have dealt with in our entire lifetimes. And they're not yet over. And there's a lot of craziness going on in our world. And for me, as this all started and the COVID-19 pandemic hit, I was reflecting on a movie that I saw that I just loved, and it was called Collateral Beauty. Perhaps some of you have seen that. In it, Will Smith plays the lead character, and he deals with a terrible life situation. And during the movie, there's a woman that says to him, "Watch for the collateral beauty." And that's the title of the movie. The collateral beauty really reflects the fact that during dark and difficult times that we all face in life, there is beauty all around us, but we have to be watching for it. We have to be mindful of it. And as this whole pandemic and FTC stuff was going on, that was my encouragement to all of our team members, is to watch for the collateral beauty. Don't let the darkness and difficulty rob us of our joy. And I have to tell you, through these last 7-8 months or so, there's been a tremendous amount of collateral beauty. And some of that I want to share with you because you are part of that. This organization was founded on having a great, tight, loving, caring, mutual benefit community. In fact, when I was just a consultant with the company 16 years ago, and we were forming our mission statement, our vision statement, and our value system, we said that our vision would be that we would be the premier financial education community for people anywhere in the world who were seeking an enriched lifestyle. That word community was very intentional because we really believe adults learn best in community. There's power in community. We're able to encourage each other through difficult times. And so the collateral beauty that I saw was really the power of the OTA community, and you're at the forefront of that. I was so encouraged in watching what students were doing during this difficult time, helping each other, writing declarations on our behalf, being involved in lawsuits, supporting us. So many different things, and emails that I got, students telling me that they were praying for us, students telling me that they were supporting us. You have all been part of that collateral beauty, and from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of the executive team, I just want to thank all of you guys for that. Another part of the collateral beauty was the investment of time and talent that instructors made, many of which we couldn't even pay for a time. And these instructors are so committed to you and to the OTA community and business. And so many of them still right with us, right alongside of us, continuing to deliver great education. So again, I want to say a hearty thank you to the instructors, phenomenal people, many of which actually started as students. Our staff members, our employees all across the network at the corporate headquarters have been through a lot during this difficult time, just as you all have. And they've hung in there with us, and it's just refreshing to see how much they care and how committed they are to our cause and to you all. I want to especially call a shout out for the collateral beauty that's represented by our franchise owners. These are folks who've invested their life in their businesses, who are there day in and day out in their centers, who you all know and love and who love you guys deeply. They've been through a lot in this period of time. In addition to everything else personally, their businesses have been disrupted as much as any businesses on the planet. And yet they're hanging in there, they're continuing to invest, they're starting to reopen their centers. So again, I think we all owe a debt of gratitude and thanks, and send some love to your franchise owners at the local level. And then my encouragement, I guess, for us as we are building the company, continuing to invest in the company, as we continue to turn the page and look forward to the brighter days ahead, is that we need to be that collateral beauty to those around us. We can either succumb to the darkness, or we can be a light in the lives of those around us. We can either be on the side of all the negativity and all the hate speak and all the terrible things that we're seeing sometimes in the worst of our world right now, or we can represent the best of our world. And I really believe it's part of the DNA of this organization, and you as students are part of this organization. You're not just customers, you are part of this organization. We are all part of bringing more light to the world around us. So that's my encouragement to you. Watch for the collateral beauty during these difficult times. If we can help you in any way, and some things that you're going through, please know we're here for you, and we want to help you do that. Now, you've heard from Eyal and you've heard from Mike a little bit about where the company is going, all the exciting things that we have in place, the investments that we're making to continue to help you achieve your goals. I want to introduce someone who I've worked with now for, close to 30 years. We raised our daughters together. We have worked alongside each other in 3 different companies. He's an amazing man who cares deeply about delivering world-class education to every single student, and is investing his life into you achieving your goals. So with that, I want to introduce my great friend and our Vice President of Education Products and Services, Mr. Steve Albin. Steve?
Thanks, Gene. It is so good to be with you guys, and we're going to spend some time talking about education and our products, and I'll look into the future and our product roadmaps. But before I do that, I just wanted to take a moment to say it is just such a privilege to be a part of this broadcast and this community gathering, and to be able to spend this time with you. And I wanted to also just say simply thank you. Thank you for your trust in us as your education in the financial markets, as well as over this last period of time, just your voice in just demonstrating your care for Online Trading Academy. It just has meant so much to us, and we just really, really appreciate it. And as I was thinking about this community gathering, I went back to 2017 when we had our Student Thrive Conference. How many of you were there for that? Just go ahead and type in the chat. And I remember Ayal Shahar's opening message to us all. And it was something that I took away from that opening message then into the next couple days with you. And it was interesting having lunch with you at that Thrive conference or being in just different times and discussions with you. And we all arrived at that same place, which was, this does not feel like company and customer, like company and client. This feels like family. And that's what this time feels like as well. And it's just really great to be with you all. So in our limited time, what I'd like to do is just spend some time on three primary topics. And the first one of those is modalities. Now, Ayal spoke a little bit about modalities, so let's dive a little bit deeper into that. And with modalities, there are three that we focus on. And it's, modalities is really just a fancy way of saying, how do you consume your education? How do we deliver it? And the first one is with instructor-led. It's when you are at your center physically in a room, traditionally live in person with that instructor. And we refer to that as on location. And during this period of time with on location, we've actually innovated in a really interesting way. And I guess you would have to say that necessity is the mother of all invention, because there were travel restrictions. There were centers that couldn't open. And when they did open, they had limited seating. So we piloted a new type of on-location class called Connected Classroom. And let me just share with you what that is. It is when the instructor is not physically out at the center, they are online and they're being broadcast into the center. You show up at the center and you're taking that class physically in the center, and you've got a teacher assistant there with you in the room, and it's your class along with several other centers that are connected together in that class. And it has really been a great experience to just see how that's been received. We've piloted it, and it has really had a good response. So we're going to continue to develop that, to continue to evolve and fine-tune that delivery. In addition, we will still continue to have the traditional on-location where you come to the class, the instructor will travel out to the center and be there. So this is just another way that we are bringing the education to you. So that's Connected Classroom. So on location is one type of modality. The second type of modality is what we're doing here. We call it online. And we've all become very familiar with online. And if any of you have school-age students, you're being that teacher as well, and they're going into online different types of classes as well. So it is a powerful way of consuming education. And Online Trading Academy has been doing it for quite some time. And we will continue to do that. Now, what's interesting about online, there are really two modalities inside of online. There is live online, where we are together at the same time, live. You ask a question, the instructor delivers the answer to that question, and many of you have experienced our live online classes. But with every one of our live online classes, we also record those classes, which is now another modality. It is, in essence, a version of on demand, so that you can hit the play button and watch that recording. But you're watching a 3-hour session. You're watching what was transpiring live. And that's great if you missed a session, or if you want to go back and just for learning reinforcement, watch that session again. So with our online modality, there's not much that's changing there with regard to we will continue to offer live, we will continue to offer the recorded versions of those live sessions, but there is one big change that is going to be happening with our live online. We are going to be transitioning to a new technology, a new virtual classroom. So we are going to be moving to a platform that may be familiar to you, Zoom. So we have been in conversations with them for quite some time now, and we have now we are beginning to move forward with that integration. It is going to be a very big initiative, but it offers a lot of great value to all of us. Number one, it will house every one of our classes, large and small. There is only one experience that you'll have to have, and you'll be able to become very familiar with that. Number two, rich media. We're able to play video content and so on. And one other one that really is exciting is the fact that immediately All of our sessions, both live and recorded, every one of them will be mobile friendly. You will be able to watch your class and participate in your class on your smartphone, or on your tablet. So that is really exciting. With that, it is going to be a big initiative. And so I would just ask for your support. It is going to require some grace and some patience. We are going to be well prepared for it, but it is a big initiative. And so we're really looking forward to it, and it is going to be happening here very shortly over the next couple months. So we're excited about it, and look for more on Zoom for our live online classes. The third modality that I wanted to highlight is on demand. And on demand, although we record our live sessions, that's a version of on demand, but we have another version of on demand. And what we talk about and what we refer to with on demand is a highly produced, scripted, storyboarded experience where we will take a concept and we will chunk it down into a digestible 2-minute to 5-minute learning objective. And so when you need to watch or learn that concept, you can simply go right to that 2 minutes, just-in-time delivery of that content. So that's what our on-demand offering is. And we've now completed core strategy, we've completed futures, we've completed both parts of strategic investor, and we now are in the process of delivering and developing options. And so we have completed options phase 1. We're not going to wait for phase 2 and phase 3 to be completed. And so you now should also have options phase 1. And so we will complete that class very shortly. And then we will move to Forex. And then we will wrap up our core curriculum with the stock on demand. I would venture to guess that many of you have not even experienced on demand. Simply go to My OTA. If your education path has futures, you will have the futures on demand in your My OTA. Go to My Education, locate futures on demand, and you're able to then participate in that. Use it to reinforce what you've learned, and as well as get prepared if you're getting ready to take that class. Our instructors have let us know they know when a student has really consumed the on-demand because they come into their class hitting the ground running. So check that out. Take a look at on demand. So we've got live at the center, that is on location, and a version of that connected classroom. We'll continue to offer both of those, online versus live, as well as recorded with Zoom. And then we've got our on demand in those asset classes. So that's modalities. Let's move to another topic. And Mike had mentioned to you, and he used the word Compass and drew your attention to a program that we are launching. So Compass is a very large initiative for us, and in its just simple, high level, it is us coming alongside your journey and providing hand-holding, accountability, inspiration, encouragement along the way. It is a series of events that we call Compass events, where we will take a look at the accomplishments that you have. We will look into the future with you and to make sure that you're focused, that you are still looking at your goal. There's really three things that you have to focus on. There is, where am I at in my journey? And where is my true north? Where is my why? And that you're always staying focused on that goal. And what is my next step? And Compass was really born out of the need that we heard from you all. And it was this. We've heard many times from you all. Yeah, I am not without want when it comes to curriculum, services, tools. Online Trading Academy has so much that I can consume. My challenge is I don't know really where to begin. And that's what Compass answers. Compass is the solution for that, where we will help you step by step go through your journey, each one of you in your unique journey, to help you arrive and reach your end goal. So there is a lot more. There's Elevate, there's Vista, there's GPS, there's guide sessions. So there is a lot to Compass. So look for more of that as we begin to unfold that here over this coming year. So that's Compass. I want to wrap up with just another initiative as well, and I want to go back to that 2017 Student Thrive Conference as well. And for those of you who were there, if you remember, we actually held a focus group with mastermind members. And from that focus group, we had the following year a series of follow-on quarterly sessions where we marched through some of the requests that you had and we made them become a reality. And one of those very clear requests that you had was, we would like more advanced classes. And so that is what we now are launching, a new initiative. Advanced classes, they'll be shortened classes, probably most likely a one-day class, but there will be advanced classes in all the various strategies of options, various concepts with futures, whether it is seasonal futures, commodity futures. So look for a lot of development with regard to advanced classes. We're really excited about offering that to you all as our students as well. So a lot going on, and as I wrap up here, I got to tell you, there's a lot of products that we didn't even talk about. Mastermind Community 2.0, the Options 2 program, upgrading our Forex program, GPS, guide sessions. You know what? And we haven't even started talking about Click. If we just started talking about Click and its impact on the educational journey and your experience, we'd be here for another two hours. So, but there's a lot of exciting things. As you guys know, the grids were just released inside of Click not too long ago, so that's pretty cool. So you all, from an education perspective, it is a new day. And we are committed more than ever to your journey, being with you on that journey, and seeing you complete that journey. So before I sign off, just a reminder, I will be with you shortly with the panel discussion where we will dig into some of the questions that you all have, and we'll just have a period of Q&A together. Looking forward to that. But you know what? As our centers begin to open up more and continue to open up, we are fired up about you coming back to your center. There's been a lot of that community that we've all missed. We've kept it together online, but there's nothing like you being with your local community at the center. And in fact, I will leave you with this. There are a few other folks that would like to say hi, so take a listen to this.
I want to say hello to all of my Online Trading Academy students. I know it's been a long, crazy year, but better things are on the way.
Can't wait to start teaching again. Thrilled to be back. Looking forward to seeing everybody.
Since the end of 2019, and we've been living in a state of uncertainty about the future. Most countries on this planet were in some way struck by a set of challenges. COVID pandemic being chief among them.
Staying at home the last many months may not have been much fun, but it gave us lots of opportunity to trade, invest, and hone our techniques with online courses and Clubhouse.
Can't wait to see you all real soon.
I love sharing my passion for Forex trading and investing with all of you.
Stay positive, focus on the things that are right in our lives, like health and happiness and family and friends.
I've missed my students a lot during these difficult times. For us as a country and for us as a company, it has not been easy these last 6 months. So from time to time, I've gone through some of the notes and cards that some of my students have given me over the years. And as I did that, it really lifted my spirits.
To make a difference and enrich lives.
OTA family, the students and the people of OTA are family also, a very special kind of family. It's the kind of family that doesn't try to borrow money.
It's nice to walk into a classroom on a Monday morning, everybody's real quiet, nobody knows anybody. And by Friday, they're all like good friends.
Stay safe in the physical world as well as the trading world.
We appreciate you, our students, we miss you, and I, for one, am looking very forward to seeing you again in the classrooms.
All right, everyone, we're going to take a 5-minute break now, so we'll be back with you shortly, and we'll get to our Q&A session. Well, thanks again, guys, for those presentations. Hopefully, you've all seen a new glimpse of where we're going as a company in the future and some new things that we have in the pipeline and our commitment to you going forward. You've already met Eyal Shahar and Mike Richardson and Steve Albin. You have not met yet our Chief Technology Officer, Eyal Marmarelli. So Eyal is with us as well to answer some questions. We've been gathering your questions as the time has been going on. So we're going to take those in maybe somewhat random order, and a few of us will answer some of those questions. We'll try to be as succinct as possible. Keep the questions coming. I promise you right up front, we will not get to all your questions, but we'll find more ways to get back to you with some of the answers to your questions. So why don't we jump right in? Helping us by asking the questions is Gary Christmas. He's our Senior Director of Media Development. Gary's amazing, and his team are handling all the audio, video for this. So Gary, why don't you jump in, and then I'll prompt you as we're ready for next questions.
Thanks, Gene. The first question that we have coming in from our students is, what is the strength of OTA going forward after the settlement?
All right, so there's lots of parts of that. Eyal, why don't you kick that off, and then maybe Mike, you can fill in some of the blanks as well.
You know, the foundation of our company is set on our values, and one of them is love. And we all got connected to that aspect of our relationship with our students beyond our belief. I think today our relationship with our students is stronger than ever. We receive, so much support from our students through this process. And we're more committed than ever to make sure that between Click and additional educational pieces that we're adding to our model, we'll support you better than ever, and we'll keep on investing enormously in order to make sure that we help you get to the end results that you want to get to as fast as possible.
Yeah, and if I can add to that, one of the things we do best is innovation. And if you want to innovate, one of the best core values you can have is love. When I first came here, we defined love as an absence of limiting beliefs and an absence of fear. And we're getting back to that, putting our foot back on that gas pedal of innovating from our technology to our education to our community. And so we're very excited to be stepping into a whole different gear, and things are going to get very exciting.
Thanks, guys. And I would just add the hundreds of dedicated instructors, franchise owners, employees. These people are so dedicated to the continuing success of our students, helping you achieve your goals. So thank you. Gary, what's next?
This was a great one. Is there anything lingering with the FTC? What is the likelihood of that happening again?
Mike, why don't you take that one?
Thank you, Gene. It's been an interesting period of time, and we are feeling very excited to be getting back to business. And part of that, as we innovate and grow, is to be taking our compliance game to all new levels. We already had solid foundations of a compliance system and a compliance program. Clearly, we've gained some insights into the strengths and weaknesses of that program, and we are relentlessly committed now to taking our compliance program and system and culture onwards and upwards. And so in an organizational learning, continuous improvement kind of mode. And so, we feel very confident about all of that. We're going to work very hard at it. And as a result, you can never say never, but no, we don't expect there to be any residual issues, recurring issues. We have always set out to set industry standards, to be the gold standard, and we are relentlessly committed to that more than ever before.
Mike, as you were sharing, the thought that came to my mind is the source behind you asking that question is, am I going to be able to keep my stuff? Am I going to be able to keep my valuable education? And that's what we fought for. It was for lifelong, continuous education for our students. And as long as we are here, that will be there and it will be available to you. And that's our commitment. And that's why we're here. And that's why we fought.
What is happening with Tastyworks?
Tastyworks. Eyal, why don't you take that one? What's our relationship with Tastyworks, and what does it look like going forward?
So Tastyworks was picked by us as the brokerage firm that will be first connected to Click. And the reason we did that is because they're very technology based and very, very innovative company. And we wanted to make sure that Click has all of this advantage because there were multiple specific requirements that we needed to have a cutting-edge technology like Click be connected to a broker. And they were able to fulfill, all of our requests. And so Click is already connected to live trading in equities and futures. We've already tested equities, and we're going to start that, rolling it out in our classes first. Futures will be coming right behind that. We will then work on live execution for options that will go into testing modes. And right after that, once we feel comfortable enough, we'll roll live execution for all asset classes to the students at home. So the relationship with them is strong, and we continue to invest in it and build on it.
Next question is a great one. When will we have live classes at my center?
When we have, why don't I take that? So much of that relates to COVID-19 and when that locality is allowing people to come into centers. And one of the questions that we've asked, and a number of our centers have sent out surveys and asked you, our students, when are you going to feel comfortable coming back into a center? And interestingly enough, we're hearing a lot of people saying, I'm not sure I'm there yet, but I'm enjoying the online education, I'm enjoying the on-demand education. So a lot will depend on the local centers and what's available in those local markets. Pray that we don't see a resurgence of COVID-19 in the wintertime. But right now it'll be different for every center. So I would recommend you contact your local student support person. If you're not sure who that is, you can always check in My OTA. You can type a message in to help. You'll probably get a live chat, or someone will get back to you right away. What else, Gary? What do we got?
How do I stay connected with my center during this time?
How do you stay connected to your center? Well, you should be getting some emails from your center on the activities in your center, whether live or some of the online special student events that we're running. You can see in the newsletter that we send out from corporate headquarters on a monthly basis some activity that's happening. Contact your student support person. Contact your enrollment specialist. Give a call to the center or stop by if you're able to do that, because we want to connect with you. There's obviously a lot more, thousands more of you than there are people in the center. So reach out and connect with them. One of the other things that we love about this community is how well you're connected with each other. So stay connected with each other. And again, if you're having trouble finding a number, or a phone number is not working now, or whatever reason, because some people are no longer with the organization, you might have had a cell phone number or what have you, contact help through My OTA, and we'll be able to get you connected to the right people.
Thanks, Gene. This one is really similar. What do I do if my center is not open and I still want to attend a class?
We have a number of different options. One thing is you can always take classes at other locations. We realize that people are not as willing to travel. Some of you are not more than a couple hours or less from a different center in our franchise network. So you might be able to take advantage of that as well. There will be different centers opening, or there's even a couple of centers that are moving to new locations, so watch for that as well. And we will continue as the months go by and COVID opens up a little bit more. We'll continue to look for opportunities to open up more locations and more opportunities for you to be able to get your education in a live, connected environment.
Yeah, and if I could just add to that as well, that's one reason why we have online as well. So we have live online, so if the center's not open yet or their schedule doesn't quite fit, they're not offering that class when you want to have it, the beauty is you can take our live online offering as well. And we've continued that through this pandemic period, and we're going to continue that going forward.
Right, and some of our instructors are still not able to travel to certain places, so there's various travel restrictions and issues that we're dealing with. So it's a complicated mixture of things, but we're committed to opening up as many classes and continuing to deliver online education in much volume.
So the next question is, I miss my favorite instructors. How can I request to see them online?
That's a great question. I miss them too. I miss being able to hug them and see a lot of these folks. But let me turn that over to Steve Altman. Steve?
Yeah, well, everybody has a favorite instructor. And so our goal is that all of our instructors are favorite instructors. So what's interesting with our instructors, we actually spend a lot of time reading your comments from every class that you take, and we look at those instructors. We look at what's the right fit for them. Are they a more advanced instructor? Are they a more elementary foundational instructor? And we try to fit them in the right spot. To answer your question directly, there really isn't a place where you say, I want to go to that class with that instructor. So we're sending them all over the country when they're traveling and they're going to various centers, and we also offer them online so that you can take them online as well. So the best thing to do is just look at your calendar, look at what class fits the best for you. Feel free to contact our customer care and say, can I get more of that instructor? And we do our best to meet that requirement, to meet that request.
Yeah, and I would also put that request into your local student support manager as well. Thanks. Gary?
What is the plan with our virtual classroom or Blackboard?
Terrific. Let's go to Al Marmarelli on that virtual classroom, and then maybe Steve, you can fill in some of the blanks there.
Absolutely. So many of you know that we have been using Blackboard Collaborate as our partner to deliver classroom for the past really 8 or 9 years. And with the growth of Online Trading Academy and the additional demands that we kind of like had out of an online collaboration platform, we have been actually a lot before the pandemic and kind of like through everything that happened in a kind of like major RFP process to try and find kind of like the best of breed platform that is going to serve our needs. So I'm glad to announce that we are going to be migrating to a platform that some of you may have heard about. It's called Zoom. Zoom, together with the ability to support much larger session capacities that OTA needs, is also gonna make available for us the ability to for you students to attend all sessions live and recorded via mobile. I know this has been a request that we've received from many of our students, and unfortunately due to limitations with our existing partner Blackboard, we could not have done this. So we anticipate before the end of the year to integrate MyOTA and our LMS system together with the Zoom platform, and all the sessions will gradually be transitioned to Zoom.
Steve, anything to add to that?
The only thing that I would add to that, outside of just it's really, really exciting, is it's going to take a lot of heavy lifting, and it's going to be a lot of implementation and training our instructors, and we're going to be coming to you with various focus groups and various events that we want you to participate in, and we want your feedback as well. So this is a huge deal, and we are really looking forward to a new virtual classroom. So we're really excited about it.
Gary, next question, please.
I noticed that a lot of instructors have left OTA and are doing their own teaching. Will they come back and teach for OTA after the pandemic?
Yeah, and we miss those people too. They're all family. But Steve, why don't you take that one?
Yeah, it's been interesting times, I will say that. And you know, that question just does not affect Online Trading Academy. That's affected pretty much every business around the world. And so we have instructors that need to take care of their families. They need to put food on their tables, and so they've had to make those decisions and do what they can do, especially when our centers have not been open physically. So we've had a scaled down team that's been delivering online. That being said, every month we have our own internal forums with instructors, and it's been so cool to see that instructors that are teaching active for us, there is 3 times that many that show up for our education. Even when they are not actively teaching for us, they still feel a part of our community. They are still showing up to stay connected to the community. And I got to tell you, they are excited to get back out to the centers. So we've lost some instructors, but when we reopen back up and when we're at full strength again, we believe that many of them will come back because they love Online Trading Academy, they love you, and they love teaching.
Thanks, Steve. Gary.
This looks like from a mastermind student. Why do I have to pay for Signature Series classes?
Well, first off, we hope you're enjoying the Signature Series. That's a relatively new product offering for us. Let me turn that over to Steve, and then maybe Mike want to add a little bit of something to that as well.
So I'll do what Gene does. That's a great question. Mike? No, that really is a good question, and I think it has a lot to do as well with just product strategy. And I think I would begin to answer that question by saying, as a mastermind student, you receive a set of products and services that is part of that community. And our goal is to provide incredible value in those services. All Asset Mastery, Supply and Demand Grid, Daily Market Overview, Market Screener. Those are all part of what you received when you enrolled in Mastermind Community. Then there is Above and Beyond. And through the years of Mastermind Community, we've had Above and Beyond. We've had Spotlight sessions, we've had Signature Series, we've had GPS sessions, and more. And so I think really at the heart of that question is to say, you know, I've paid for a lot, and so why do I have to pay for more? And the answer would be, you've paid for a tremendous amount of value, and we want to continue to provide value to that. But there's going to be certain products that we will make available first to our Mastermind members because they are Mastermind members, because they've invested a lot. But those products by design are to then bring down to more of the entire student base. And so for that, we'll have some form of a cost. We want to stay in business, and we know you want us to stay in business as well. So we have to cover the cost of the instructors, the support team, the technology, and so forth. So that's the reason why we do that, and we just have to make those decisions on each one of those products as we move forward.
Yeah, I think that's so well said. And you know, we have a lot of conversations about our business model and our business strategy with innovation at the core, and so we're always looking at, you know, the sort of cost-benefit equation of how we keep innovating and keep driving onwards and upwards. And you know, I can't think of too many places where I subscribe and then I get everything thereafter for free. Prime Video doesn't do that for me. There are some things that, you know, even though I'm a Prime Video subscriber, I have to pay up for certain qualities of videos or current videos, etc., and movies, etc. So we don't take this lightly, though. We want to grandfather to you everything that we possibly can. And, you know, we just have to make, you know, investment decisions in a reasonable way to be investing in your future and able to sort of drive things onwards and upwards with innovation that we all want for you.
Thanks, guys. Gary.
I'm a little unclear on the on-demand classes of what I have access to. Can you go through that for us again?
Steve, you've got kind of the product roadmap, and the team is working on a number of things. What's come out already, and what's new?
Yeah. So as far as on-demand, we covered a lot of ground when we just went through just the product overview of on-demand. To answer your specific question of what you have access to, whatever you have purchased, so if you've purchased the Forex course, you would have access to the on-demand. That's one of the modalities that you would have access to, so that you can take that course anytime. That's the beauty of on-demand or self-paced content. And so the second part of your question may be, where do I get that and how do I get access to that? So it's inside of my OTA. You would go to My Education and you would locate that course, and you would then see the on-demand, and it's contained in your ebook inside of your courses.
And again, if you have any questions on that, contact your student support person or contact in My OTA help, and we'll get you access to that right away. And if there's any glitches or maybe for some reason that you're not activated, we'll get that fixed for you as well. What's next, Gary?
When will live trading be available for Click?
Click. All right. So the architect of Click, Mr. Eyal Marmarelli, our Chief Technology Officer. Eyal?
Yes, thank you, Gary. So I'm glad to announce, and we've covered it a little bit in the earlier session, that the development for live execution for stocks and futures with our current broker partner, Tastywork, has been completed. Given everything that happened in 2020 with the pandemic and everything else, we have experienced a slight delay in rolling it out. We were right on the verge of starting to test live execution for stocks in our core strategy classes around the March timeframe. And we are excited to start testing live execution very shortly here in our core strategy classes again, sometimes between now and the end of the year. Side by side with that, our instructor team is testing live execution for futures. And as we feel we're ready and that we have gone through enough QA and QC and many, many tests, because obviously live execution is something we need to get absolutely right for you, we're going to start piloting this for students at home, sometimes possibly late Q1 or later into 2021.
Great. Thanks, Eyal. Gary, what's next?
When will Forex be available in Click?
Our ultimate goal is to have all asset class available in Click. Now, with that in mind, in the technology world, especially with a company that has as much innovation as we do, the act of prioritization it's an ongoing balancing act. So with that in mind, we're trying to develop items for stocks and futures and options. And given that those three were also the asset class that were available with our current broker partner, Tastyworks, we decided that we're going to focus on the three first and really make sure we develop enough functionality and have kind of like deep features for each of these asset class, including trade builders and education in Click that is going to be built soon after that. And within that, as soon as we feel that we've built enough content into the three asset classes, as well as that we have delivered on live execution for the three asset classes, Forex is going to be right next in line. And we're going to try to do it just as soon as we can.
Yeah, and I'll add to that. I've been in the development of complex technologies all my life, and the product strategy and the product management and the product development that it takes is very complex. And many of you, no doubt, are in the software industry or close to the software industry, and you know that from your own experience. And it's hard to make hard, tough prioritization decisions. And I think we're finding the right kind of path. And, a few years from now, we'll all sort of forget exactly what sequence of priorities we unfolded when we have this fantastic technology tool that is progressively built out, and we're doing from my experience at least, and of different projects over the years, we're doing a pretty decent job of the way we're managing this and getting there. Starting from nothing to where we're going is turning out pretty well. So we appreciate your patience with the prioritization decisions that we're having to make, and you've heard that there's some really big stuff coming. So watch this space.
Great. Thank you, Mike. Gary, next question.
How do I get a login to Click?
Great question. We have just the right person to answer that. Eyal Marmarelli.
All right, so there are multiple ways to get your login to Click. So the way we've done it up until this point is you are welcome to attend, like Steve said before, a class, either online or at your center if one is available. And through that process, we have a workflow to make a login available for you. As you all know, early on in the rollout of Click, attending a class was the way to get a login. But since then, and despite the pandemic and everything that happened in 2020, we have made large investments in Click and specifically in the infrastructure behind Click to ensure we can continue to scale it and put a lot more students to use it at one time. And with that, I'm glad to say that anyone that have the qualifying XLT can now call in, that you can contact your center or you can contact our Click support team and just make a request to get your login created, and they'll be happy to assist you with that.
Thank you, Eyal. Gary, next question.
We're getting a lot of questions about Click. Al, can you give us a summarized version of what's happening with Click and what's coming? Because that's really what the questions are about.
Absolutely. So we've talked a lot about the grid that has just been rolled out, and we are very excited about it. This has been long in the making. One comment I did wanna mention, because I've heard this coming up in a number of sessions, and a lot of time people are wondering, why is it taking so long, or maybe it's taking a little longer than they hoped. And the one thing that maybe doesn't meet the eye for somebody that haven't been involved in development of very complex software is aspects of integration and ensuring we have items like permissions, and ensuring that the students are getting the type of asset class they got from us, and giving them the ability to customize their grids the way they want to see them, and preparing layout and preparing help file and documentation behind it. So there is quite a lot that goes into product development to make a product kind of like worthwhile and very useful for the customers. But with that in mind, we talked about the grid. We touched on the education in Click that is going to be available right there where you need it. Steve touched on demand. So we've really taken a lot of specific clips from on demand and really integrated them in Click in strategic points where you need them, so you can reference them without having to go back to My OTA and look for them. So very excited about the first time, of integrating a lot of education. We're really the first platform to ever do that in that capacity. So that's very exciting for us. Beyond that, we touched a little bit about scans and scanners and stuff like gainers and losers and most volume. So just building more depths into conventional trading functionality into Click is going to become available. And like I said before, Mike touched on the concept of innovation, and we are constantly getting on a weekly basis ideas that are being added to our backlog, which is a few hundred items long at this point in time. We're getting ideas from our students, from our instructors, and our job as a technology team is kind of like take this list, groom it, and make all these great ideas into a reality. So beyond what we've talked about with educations and scans and live executions, we're gonna make available a lot more features for options, obviously Forex at one point, which we've talked about. And in addition, a number of very exciting proprietary OTA tools that are currently in the process of design that we'll touch on in the coming months.
Excellent. Thank you, Eyal. Gary, we have some more questions.
Okay, can you assure me that lifelong education will continue?
That is absolutely our commitment to you and all of the students.
I didn't even get a chance to jump in. Eyal, thank you. But yeah, so 23 years ago, Eyal, you started this, and that concept of lifetime education was a critical part of what you wanted to deliver to your students. It wasn't some marketing idea. There wasn't even a marketing department at the time. And so for 23 years, we've been doing it. And 23 years from now, we'll all be a little bit older, sitting here doing the same thing with you and delivering lifelong education. So thanks, Eyal.
I think what's important is to really connect to why we do this, because I think the commitment that we have is that you'll actually achieve as a student the results that you come to us to achieve. And we want to stay with you for as long as it takes until you get there. So, for some it takes a shorter time than others, and we want to be right by your side for how long it takes you.
Excellent. Great question and very direct, and we appreciate that. So thank you. Gary, what do you got?
As a mastermind student, I've noticed that some non-mastermind students are now having access to the mastermind grid. Can you explain why?
Steve, that's yours.
Yeah, so I think the first one is just a point of clarification on what these students are receiving. So students that are not a mastermind member are receiving a portion of the grid just for the asset class that they have. So it's very limited, and it's also for a limited period of time. That being said, as we've just gone through this pandemic, we just looked at ourselves and said, you know what, it really is the right thing to do. We want to support our students in every which way that we can. And I would add one more thought there as well. I have been in so many mastermind sessions, and in so many sessions where mastermind members are with an XLT community. And I've seen you mastermind members constantly supporting the students. So this is not only something that we felt that we need to do, we really believe that this is something that you would do as well. And so it's a great gesture. And then one more thing. We constantly are looking for ways of adding value into the mastermind community. So keep in mind the grid inside of Click that Eyal has been talking about, that will be launched just to mastermind members. So the rest of the student community will not receive that as well. So this is just really, I think, a great thing that we all could do for our students. So Mike, I don't know if you have anything you want to add.
Yeah, and I think, over this period of time that's been incredibly challenging with the pandemic, we have seen extraordinary measures taken by extraordinary people to support communities across the world in all kinds of different ways. And this was just one way that we thought we could support the broader community of our students and live up to our core value of love. And, we hope we've done that, and that was our intention.
Well, I think we're pretty much out of time now, so we want to be respectful of your time. So thank you for all of you being on this session. We sure wish that we could be doing this live to give a hug to every one of you guys, and look forward to the day when we can do that again. We do miss connecting with you on that basis. We're going to do more of these kinds of sessions. Again, watch the newsletters that come out at the beginning of every month. There's also newsletters from your center. Watch the announcements that come out in My OTA. Remember that we're working on now, sometime in early 2021, a virtual Thrive event. That's going to be really exciting. It's going to be a great event. And again, we appreciate the time we've spent with you guys. We miss you very much. Mike, any last thoughts?
Yes. I think OTA has always been a remarkable story in our 24th year, and even more so now with what we've been through this year. Even more so in the future with all the innovation and investment that we're going to bring. And you know what? You can boil it down to one thing and one reason and one person, and he sat right here, Eyal Shahar.
Thank you, Mike. I would love every single one of you to be left in the end of this session with a deep feeling of our commitment to all of you, because that's really where our focus is. I think these entire 6 months left us invigorated more than ever and more committed than ever to do everything we can to help support you and the growing community of traders that we teach, and keep on investing and accelerate the investments in Click and other virtual tools to help you get to the results you want to get. And my personal goal and personal commitment with my entire management team is to get to a point that we can exceed the expectations of every single one of you. That is our commitment to you. Have a fabulous coming year.
Thanks, everybody.